Welcome to Code Equestria. I'm Nirvana Sparkle, and as we always do when the WWE has a major pay-per-view on its hands, it's time for me to finally come out and make my predictions. Now, of course, on this week's edition of Equestrian Rumble, Tyler and David made their predictions. So, we'll of course leave a link in the description below so you can hear that podcast and hear what they had to say about it. But these are clearly mine for tonight's WrestleMania 32. An event that I have said repeatedly is one of the most important to my year. In fact, it is the most important. There's so much family connection that has to do with the event. I could probably make an entire video on it. But enough with kicking around the corner. It's time to start predicting these matches, starting with the kickoff show matches first, which there are three. The first being the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. Now, to pick an actual winner is a tough one. After all, you've got about 25 wrestlers to choose from, and about anything could happen here. But it's very obvious that Big Show is looking for a repeat, and Kane's looking to stop him. To pick a winner is kind of a tough one, but I'm going to go storyline safe and say Kane. My main reasons behind that I'll get to later in the predictions when we get to the front of the main card. Next up is a 10 Diva Tag Team match. Now, a little bit of news. This will be the last time, maybe, hopefully, that I'll be using the word diva to describe the women's division. It looks like the women's division is being totally redone with a new women's title awaiting us. So, this is going to be an historic night in terms of women's wrestling and where it's moving forward. And its first step is in a Team Bad and Blonde, and yes, that's actually what it's called, taking on Team Total Divas. Now, the Total Divas cast consists of course, Brie Bella, and the rest of the cast of Total Divas, taking on Lana, Emma, and the remains of Team Bad and Eva Marie. Why Eva Marie is in this match, I have no idea. But to pick a winner is pretty simple here. Go with the good guys win, because Total Divas is in a current season right now. And plus, good guy divas have to win matches like this. They typically do. So I'm voting for Team Total Divas to win this kickoff match. But also part of the kickoff is the Usos versus the Dudleys. These two tag teams have been fighting each other since the Dudleys went heel a few months ago, saying no more tables for the legendary tag team that has statistically the most tag team titles of any tag team in the world in the history of the sport. Not just WWE, by the way. In fact, they've won in every organization they've ever been in. The Usos are, of course, your former tag team champions, who are the good guys here. Now, to say that there will be tables in this match is probably an understatement. I can see a table or two possibly being used here to kind of toy with the Dudley's heel gimmick. And I expect I expect wholeheartedly for the Usos and Dudleys to put on a good match. To pick a winner, though, is actually easier than it looks. I actually see, once again, the Usos, the good guys, going over the Dudleys. Although, in my perfect world, I would have the inverse of this result. Officially, I can see the Usos picking up a win here tonight against the Vaunted Tag Team. But don't think the rivalry is over, though. And don't think the Dudleys aren't looking at the tag team titles legitimately again. I think by the end of the year, the Dudleys will be back on top of the mountain again. And last up for the kickoff show matches is something that, quite frankly, shouldn't be part of the kickoff. Kalisto defending his United States Championship against Ryback. Classic big guy, little guy matchup. Now, obviously, Kalisto and vice versa, the Lucha Dragons, have been quite on a run here. Ryback's dry heel personality just doesn't work here. And him coming off as a prototypical bully kind of goes against what he was talking about just a year ago. It sounds hypocritical. So the gimmick doesn't work here. But don't be surprised if the title switch actually happens. For Ryback, this would be his second title in the WWE, which he does need one. He just needs a much better gimmick to get him over. This whole big guy thing just isn't working. But it's going to get him a United States Championship win. So look for Ryback to make the first legitimate title switch of the night during the kickoff show. And that's going to start a momentous domino rally. You could call WrestleMania 32 Title Switch Central, because there's going to be a lot of title switches tonight. Unfortunately, the tag team titles won't be one of them, as they're not on the line when the extremely over New Day takes on the League of Nations. Now, this might be one of the final get-togethers of the League of Nations as a foursome. Of course, if you've been following wrestling personally, you will know that Wade Barrett, as of June, is on his way out of the company, citing displeasure with his current position. So, will the threesome that was honoring the Freebirds last night pull off another victory against the League of Nations? I would absolutely bank on it. It's not my lock of the night, but it is one that I am almost absolutely sure it's going to go towards the New Day. But keep in mind that the League of Nations has the number advantage. So don't be surprised if they pull the swerve and give it to the League. Only to have the New Day lose the titles maybe a night after. Which could be the result anyway, coming out of WrestleMania. But for now, I'm going to say we're going to be rocking with the New Day to really start things off. Next up on the card is a match that we have seen 3 other times already. Chris Jericho versus AJ Styles. It's like picking the guy that I've loved forever against the guy that should have been here in the first place. AJ Styles is wrestling his first WrestleMania match ever a TNA legend of 11 years and multiple world championships in not only that organization, but many organizations like New Japan, AJ Styles doesn't really need to prove himself to be good. But in the WWE, what you did in the past doesn't really matter. And for him to beat Chris Jericho already twice in the span of 3 months is an impressive feat. For Chris Jericho, this will probably mark the end of his most recent run, with a great heel stint on the road to WrestleMania, as he always does. Look for these two to put on a classic, but look for the newcomer AJ Styles to once again win over Chris, and thus put an end to this rivalry. Chris Jericho is known for putting over the young talent, just like he did a few years ago with a then rookie first match, Fandango, if you can remember. Expect the same to happen here, with an AJ Styles victory. As we move on to the next matchup, which, honestly, is one of my favorites of the night, the Intercontinental title ladder match, which is full of classic NXT talent, from the Lucha Dragon Sin Cara to a first-time title match on the main roster, Sami Zayn. Zayn to, of course, Kevin Owens, and on again, off again NXTer Zack Ryder, but also Stardust and Miz fill in the roster for this Intercontinental title affair. It's a ladder match similar to last year, in which Daniel Bryan won the prestigious white belt, his last physical WrestleMania match in Daniel Bryan's career. But expect tonight to be a catapult for somebody else's career, coming off of an all-time classic match at NXT Dallas. Sami Zayn looks to have all the momentum strapped to the back of his own personal rocket ship. And expect that rocket ship to take off, as Sami Zayn, also closing his rivalry for now with Owens, will walk out as your Intercontinental title, putting a bow on maybe the greatest week in his individual wrestling career. Sami Zayn has been flirting with the main roster, winning most of his matches. In fact, he's 9-2 on television going into this match. So it's almost a certainty that KO Mania will be swept up by the Olays. Sami Zayn is my pick to win this match. After this match concludes, it's on to the Divas Championship. This, however, is my lock of the evening. It's almost a darn certainty the results of this match. The match is Charlotte defending her Divas Championship, about to become the Women's Championship once again, taking on Becky Lynch and Sasha Banks. Now, I've been saying on a multitude of months in previous prediction videos and my work with New Gaming Order that a Sasha Banks Divas Championship run is not only needed, it's inevitable. Tonight is the night. The cousin of Snoop Doggy Dogg, the latest celebrity member of the Hall of Fame, and former and mostly longest reigning women's champion in the NXT division, will finally take her spot on top of the Divas crowd. Pushed by the fans and massive momentum, this wrestling talent will follow Hall of Famer Jacqueline as yet another African American main event Divas star to make the Divas Revolution truly complete. And thus, and the Divas division as we know it and catapult it to another level of excellence. Expect this triple threat to possibly go 30-40 minutes as all three of these superstars are expertly talented at what they do. But expect the inevitable and expect the Snoop Dogg performance leading his cousin to the ring. Sasha Banks is your winner with your lock of the night. Put money on it, people. It's almost a sure thing. Next up, however, are the major main events of the evening, consisting of two title matches. The first being for a title, and the other being for the title of the boss, in a literal sense. Roman Reigns versus Triple H. A match that I will say, by my own personal admission, I am not looking forward to. In fact, I am dreading the result of this match. Just like I was at this time last year at Mania, when Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar had their tip for the world title, only to be saved by a cash-in by Seth Rollins. But this year, there is no cash-in. There is no miracle. This year, unfortunately, fans, it's going to happen. 2.5 years of over-pushing, regardless of fan dismay, is about to be cashed in as Roman Reigns will become your new WWE Champion. It's almost a shame, though, a guy with no wrestling talent and no personality is about to become the face of the company, leading it further down its downward spiral.
Okay, do you need anything else to drink?
Mountain Dew.
Okay.
But also, there's my mom, who will also be watching the event as well. But also, it's almost a shame that the WWE is going with somebody so talentless at its front core. What I'm hoping for is a WrestleMania 9 type situation where another title match is instantly thrown in, mainly with a returning John Cena.
Okay, see you in a little while.
Yep. My mom, everyone.
Hi, everyone.
But for the match itself, give the credit to Roman Reigns as he will be your new WWE Champion. The reason I saved this match for last is not only because well, of course I forgot one more. Brock Lesnar and Dean Ambrose, and a no-holds-barred street fight. I won't waste any time here. I'm picking Dean Ambrose. I'm going to say it's going to be a bloody fight. Somebody's going to get hurt. There's going to be plenty of suplexes and plenty of weapons, but look for Dean Ambrose to get his moment in the sun tonight over Brock Lesnar. But enough pussyfooting around it. Shane McMahon versus The Undertaker. I said on Monday on Equestrian Rumble that if you asked me that day, my result would be different. I said throughout the week that my result would be changing through the day. And as I woke up this morning at around 7:30, my result was once again flip-flopping. But now as I join you on this video, I can say with certainty that I've come to a decision, a consensus. You see, the reason why this is so hard to set up the scene is if Shane McMahon wins tonight, he gains control of Monday Night Raw, away from the authority and away from Vince. But that would also trigger the end of the Cosmic Law, the last WrestleMania match for the vaunted Undertaker. A man that, until recently, you could bet your whole family to win. It was almost a certainty. It was almost a guarantee. In fact, it was. But now it isn't. And for this to be how it ends for the vaunted Undertaker is almost Shakespearean. It's almost a tragedy. For Shane McMahon, it's glad to have him back time. He's been gone for 7 years, and now he's back to claim the family legacy away from Vince. And, in a semi-shoot kind of way, try to restore the WWE in the good graces of the fans because of low attendance and low ratings because of storyline problems with getting the wrong guys over, and of course having the wrong guy as your champion. Shane plans to rectify all of that, but to do it, he's got to gain control of the flagship. So there's your setup. For this decision, I have to literally make a choice between the possibilities of the WWE's future, weighing in on my personal belief that The Undertaker should never have lost at WrestleMania to begin with to Brock Lesnar 2 years ago. I still hold true to that statement. But facts are facts. And unfortunately, to put a 2 behind his legendary record is already hard enough. The implications are even harder to take. That's what made this decision so hard. But also what made the decision so hard is the possibility of a brand split too. I don't like the idea of 2 titles representing 2 champions within one brand. I like undisputism. I like one company, one champion, one man. I don't like 2. I've never been a fan of it. And a Shane McMahon win would almost certainly signify another brand split. But for the possibilities that it opens up, it can't be ignored. And you can almost see the end of the tragedy coming. That's why unfortunately, I have to give the win tonight to Shane McMahon. It will be an all-time classic. Expect a lot of run-ins, a lot of big spots, and a lot of blood. Expect these 2 to give it all they've got. But at the end of the day, a new era will dawn in the WWE. Not once, but twice. An era without Vince McMahon, and an era without The Undertaker at the biggest stage of them all. It was one thing last night to see Sting being forced to hang it up. It's going to be a whole nother thing to see the ultimate WrestleMania legend have to say goodbye in front of the biggest crowd ever. So, it is with a heavy heart that I make it official that Shane McMahon will win this match. If you want to hear me talk about it after WrestleMania, make sure to tune in to my friends at New Gaming Order, twitch.tv/New Gaming Order. We'll have a WrestleMania post show shortly after the event ends, in which you'll hear my opinions and my immediate reaction to the end of the show. So if you like these WrestleMania predictions and want to see more, the next time a big major comes around, SummerSlam, make sure to hit the subscribe button or to check out our multitude of My Little Pony reviews, and also to check out our weekly wrestling podcast, Equestrian Rumble, where you'll even have more action this week to post WrestleMania mayhem. I am Nirvana Sparkle. Find peace in your own Nirvana. And thanks for watching.